To you, oh God, I lift up my soul, lift up my spirit to my Lord. To you I lift up my soul. To you, oh God, I lift up my soul, lift up my spirit to my Lord. To you I lift up my soul. Make me to know your ways, oh God. Teach me your paths, guide me. You are my Savior. To you, oh God, I lift up my soul, lift up my spirit to my Lord. To you I lift up my soul. Good and upright, your gracious God, showing the way, guiding the humble to justice. To you, oh God, I lift up my soul, lift up my spirit to my Lord. To you I lift up my soul. Steadfast and kind your ways, oh God. All who revere your covenant know your friendship. To you, oh God, I lift up my soul, lift up my spirit to my Lord. To you I lift up my soul. To you I lift up my soul.
So today is the first day that we're celebrating the season of Advent, which is a time where we prepare for the coming of Christ. And this Advent season, we will prepare by creating a Jesse tree and hanging ornaments which invite us to retell the story of God's salvation from the very beginning in Genesis all the way through the coming of Christ. We begin by hanging the Jesse tree ornament, which comes with this promise in Isaiah 11, 1-3. A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. From his roots a branch will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of might, the Spirit of the knowledge and the fear of the Lord, and he will delight in the fear of the Lord.
That promise of the Jesse tree takes us back to the beginning, where the Spirit of God hovered over the void and darkness. Then God's word went forth and created the heavens and the earth. Everything visible and invisible was created through him. At that time, God chose to make humanity, male and female, in God's image. God looked at all that was created and declared that it was very good. We hang the ornament of creation to remind us that God's original plan for all of us was to live in the goodness of God's presence as a son of his glory.
But humanity was not content with God's plan for them. Both man and woman disobeyed God and chose to believe the lie that by eating the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they could become like God. Tragically, humanity's original sin brought the consequence of evil into the world. Yet God chose to not leave things this way because he removed humans from the access to the tree of life. They would not live forever and thus remain in sin. We hang the ornament of humanity's fall as sin, of our broken relationship with God, the presence of evil in the world, and our ultimate need for God.
Humans increased along with their evil actions until a time came that God regretted creating humans. He determined that he would rid the world of evil and start again. But Noah was a righteous man who found favor with God. So God saved Noah, his family, and a remnant of animals from a devastating flood he allowed to consume the earth. We hang the ornament of Noah as a reminder that God promise to protect the world from being consumed by a flood again and his loving gift to humanity of a second chance.
Years after Noah, God chose Abraham to be the first human to live by a new way of life. God called Abram to live a promise where he was to live by faith. God promised Abram's descendants to be as numerous as the stars in the sky, land, and to be used by God as a blessing to the nations. So Abraham and Sarah set out on a journey of the life of the promise. We hang the ornament of Abraham and Sarah as a reminder that God calls all humans to live a life of promise, where we walk by faith and not by sight.
God fulfilled his promise to provide a descendant for Abraham and Sarah, though they were old and well past the age of having children. But then God told Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac in worship. By faith, Abraham trusted God to provide a way to fulfill his promise to him. So he set out to sacrifice Isaac. God proved to be faithful to his promise by providing a ram to be sacrificed instead of Isaac. We hang the Isaac ornament to remind us that God has provided a sacrifice for us in his one and only Son.
Then came Jacob, the heel grasper, who was the twin brother of Esau. They were the sons of Isaac. God came to Jacob, a liar and thief, in a dream, and revealed to him that the promise made to Isaac and Abraham would continue to be fulfilled through him. Jacob would struggle over God's leadership in his life, but ultimately choose God's way for him, and thus become Israel, the one who struggles with God. We hang the Jacob ornament as a reminder that God will redeem all who submit to his leading, and a recognition that submitting to God's leadership is a struggle for all of us.
Joseph, one of the 12 sons of Israel, was given a dream by God, predicting that he would rule his whole family. His brothers hated him for this and sold him into slavery, where he spent years being falsely accused and mistreated. Yet God remembered Joseph, and he became a great leader in Egypt, where his brothers came for food during a great famine. God fulfilled Joseph's dream and used him to save his family from a famine. We hang the Joseph ornament as a symbol of God's provision for his people of promise.
May we all wait and hope for the coming of God's promise. Please welcome our speaker for today, Mrs. Rocky.
Anticipation. Yeah, that thing. Our theme for the chapel during Advent is anticipation. And our theme for especially this week is anticipation. And because, of course, I'm an English teacher, I want to explore that word, anticipation. Now, to anticipate something, it's not exactly a synonym for expect. Now, just try it out for yourself. You anticipate Christmas. All right, think now. You anticipate great gifts. You expect great gifts. You see the little difference there? Seniors, try this. You expect graduation. You anticipate graduation. Everyone, you expect a test. You anticipate a test. Or think of a basketball game. You expect an opponent's move. But wouldn't it be better if you anticipated an opponent's move? Yeah, I'm hoping you're catching the difference. Expect doesn't mean we have to do anything. Now, 8th graders, start listening. There's going to be a quiz. Anticipate looks like it would come from ante and all the Muscata pace. What does ante mean? Anti? You know that. Okay, opposite, anti. But it actually doesn't come from it. It comes from ante, A-N-T-E. All right, 8th graders, are you with me? All right, antebellum, antechamber, antecedent. All right, on the count of 3, 8th graders, tell us, what does ante mean? 1, 2, 3? Okay, good. All right, so before. Anticipation is before, and what's the middle part? The middle part means take. It means to take care of ahead of time. To look forward to, yes, but also to prepare, therefore, to take something ahead. Think of a test. When you anticipate a test, you of course expect a test, but I'm hoping you also prepare for it. You study for it. And I would like to suggest that anticipate also has a little feeling of uncertainty, maybe a little shudder to it a little bit. For instance, seniors, you anticipate college, you expect college, you prepare for it, but there's also just that little uncertainty. Will I like it? How will I do? Or for everyone here, when you take a test, or middle schoolers, when we take the Iowas, you anticipate the Iowa test, but you come prepared with your trusty number 2 pencil. But I don't want to just use negative examples. Let's return to the sports again. Good athletes anticipate their opponent's move. They do more than just expect them. When you anticipate, you plan for them by changing your position, by choosing a different pass, for instance, because you are anticipating, you are preparing in advance for it. Now, how about the biggest thing we anticipate? The prom. Sometimes I think there are 3 seasons in high school: fall, Christmas, prom. All right, prom, anticipation, expectation, preparing, excitement, a little uncertainty, lots and lots of preparation, anticipation when it comes to the prom. Well, in the first week of Advent, we are asked to not only expect Jesus' first coming as a baby, we're also nudged to anticipate his second coming. Now, remember, we've been thinking about anticipate. You expect, but you also have to do something. You have to be prepared and be alert. Everybody sit up. All right, thank you. Now, sitting up is not going to get you into heaven, but you have a little bit more of a prepared look here. You're preparing. Now, in the middle of Jesus was teaching his disciples about his second coming. He said a lot of things, but he also gave them some warning. I'm going to read it from the Message. This is what he said, probably in little different words. Be on your guard. Don't let the sharp edge of your anticipation, get dulled by parties and drinking and shopping. Otherwise, that day is going to take you by complete surprise, sprung on you suddenly like a trap. For it's going to come on everyone, everywhere, at once. So whatever you do, don't go to sleep at the switch. The Bible cautions us to be on guard. We aren't, of course, supposed to dread Jesus coming. Just think about it. We'll be able to see him. No more pain, no more suffering. It's going to be better than the prom. But it is possible to be not quite ready for the prom, isn't it? It's also possible for us not to be quite ready for Jesus' second coming. During that just huge event and that glorious day, there is also going to be a judgment. If there's going to be a time when we can no longer anticipate, we can no longer prepare. If we have refused the free gift of salvation, it will be too late. Be careful that your hearts are not weighed down with the worries of this life. Strengthen your hearts in holiness. Be alert and self-controlled. Now, I want to return to the prom. I'm going to tell you a true story. Many years ago, the PMCA prom was held on a boat in the Delaware River. This young man and his you know where I'm going here, don't you? This young man and his date, the senior, did a lot of anticipating. Beautiful clothes, rented tux, nails just right, hair done up, borrowed car. And, well, the thing about having prom on the boat is there is a time when it's too late to get on board. The boat will leave the dock. And despite the many teacher warnings, they let time slip away from them. This young man and his date arrived at Columbus Boulevard to see their boat, their prom, leave without them. True story. Jesus offers the gift of salvation. If we are children of light, he commands us to watch and pray. Be alert and self-controlled. As we anticipate his second coming, we are reminded that the boat will leave the dock. There won't be a reset or a do-over. If Jesus were coming tonight, I have two questions for you. What would you do? What would you need to do to be ready? And my second question is, what are you waiting for?